What is up, everybody? It is your boys at Franchise Tag Fantasy Football Podcast. Back again with another episode. Today we are covering numbers 12 through 1 in our way too early running back rankings. How is everybody doing?
I'm doing great.
Peachy?
Doing fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I had a cool weekend. We went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy last night. It's pretty dope. Go see it right now. It's the heat. And we went to the Living Desert with my mom and my sister and my brother-in-law and her daughter.
What? Is
And it was pretty dope. The Living Desert's like a zoo out in India or something in the desert. It's a living desert.
Okay, cool. Well,
Yeah.
That's what's up.
All right.
Brennan, how's that paint treating you?
It's great. It's white. It's alabaster white. If anybody wanted to know, looking behind me, it's alabaster white.
Alabaster white is what it's called. All right, cool. Well, guys, we are going to get into our way too early running back rankings today. Do we have any news that we need to talk about?
Not really. No. The only things that I saw were like a Kevin King update, but outside of that, and no one cares about that.
I did hear about that. That was pretty sad.
Yeah, he tore his Achilles. He's part of the illustrious club of people that have torn his Achilles, like myself and Kobe. Illustrious club. So welcome.
How many times did he tore? You tore both of them once, right? Or just the one? Maybe it's your knee on the other one.
Jesus, only one.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. He took the whole year off because he was trying to let his body heal from injuries. And then, he had some calls, I guess, last year to come back. And he said, no, I'm going to let my body heal. And then I guess during this offseason, he tore it, which is it just sucks for the guy. I know he was going to get cornerback for you guys, but it just sucks in general because he's basically done now.
It's a sensitive subject when you're talking about Kevin King.
Kevin King has been done for the Packers for I don't know how long. Okay. Let's not even get into that dang subject. All right.
Apologies.
We could have TJ Watt. That'd be crazy. Or a Super Bowl appearance if he wasn't on the roster.
Oh, man.
Yikes.
Oh, man. All right. So we've done it. We've officially went down the black hole. So it's time to jump into those rankings, guys. You ready?
I am.
Hell yeah.
Perfect. Let's do it. So 12 to 1. I need to make sure that this is going to work, but because I might have accidentally tabbed out of the screen. Technical difficulties on me. But 12 to 1, let's jump into it. The way too early running back rankings. Sure enough, that's what happened. Boom. Let me get some stuff going. At number 12, gentlemen, we have Naji Harris at number 12. His 2022 fantasy stat line was 13.1 points per game, and he finished at RB14 last season. I have him at 14 in my rankings. Ray, where do you have him?
I got him at 12.
Okay, Brennan?
I have him at 12 as well. Right on the line. Yeah.
All right, so we're right there. We're right there together, huh?
Yep.
All right.
So last year he had a terrible start. A lot of speculation was because he was playing on an injured foot for most of all season, but became super productive by week 10. It's about right when Kenny Pickett started playing a little better. So if you held on to him, you were ecstatic. Lots of receiving work compared to last season, or he lost a lot of receiving work. My apologies. He was technically one of the most consistent backs based in fantasy football, as weird it is to say. And Mike Tomlin's one of the last coaches with the mantra of having a bell cow back. So that's why I still have him as my top 12. And I'll probably keep him there for most of the time unless something changes.
Now, I'm going to ask you, Brendan, because me and you are equivalent here. Maybe Aaron probably has a better answer to this because he's got him lower. But do you take into account Jaylen Warren being anything more than just a spell back at that? And this is still like an 80% timeshare?
Yeah.
That's kind of why I have him a little lower.
Yeah, I have him. I'm not worried about Jaylen Warren. I know he did pretty well when he came in, but it doesn't matter. Mike Thomas still has that mantra of this is my guy. He does all the work for me and nothing else. That's why I keep him there.
Yeah, I mean, I only have him 2 spots lower than you, and then in my personal rankings between Naji at 14 for me and number 12, who's at my number 12, is Aaron Jones at 13. And I mean, to me, they're interchangeable almost. It's almost like a minuscule difference, if that makes sense. So, but I don't see Jaylen Warren being a problem or an issue there.
No.
All right, boys, y'all ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it pushing.
At number 11, we have Ramondre, as Ray likes to call him, Stevenson. In my personal rankings, I do have him right here at 11. Ray, where do you have him at?
I have him at 8.
Okay.
I have him at 10.
Okay. So Ray's definitely the highest on him. His 2022 fantasy stat lines were 14.6 points a game, and he finished at RB7 last year.
I like him a lot. I mean, I'm trying to think if I can move him up more, and I think I might. But again, one of the speculations were the Patriots were going to draft a running back, and they did it. And this man has the backfield all to himself in New England. Even when Harris played alongside of Stevenson, the man finished third in route participation and targets at 82 targets among running backs. And I think a lot of this has to do with, Belichick trusts him. I think, when you get, trust from Bill himself, you become the guy. So he's super productive back and does get action in the receiving game. And I don't know if you guys can agree, but I can see him being a top 5 back in this league. That's his ceiling, in my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, the Patriots didn't do anything to make me think that it wasn't going to be a Ramondre Stevenson-led backfield. Now, watch this be where Leonard Fournette or Zeke end up going and signing with and just muddying.
No, I don't think so.
This backfield. Just watch that happen. Because
So,
again, way too early, but
yeah. So with that, right, this reminds me of the Patriots of back in the day with LeGarrette Blount being there and James White. But Ramondre can do both roles instead of just one. So you get both of those rolled into one for me. But if Zeke or Fournette went there, Bill Belichick's not dumb, and he'll realize that they don't have much left in the tank. So I don't think they'll eat into it as much as we think that they will.
I wouldn't be nervous if they signed either Zeke or somebody like that.
Button.
Yeah, I would not be worried at all if they signed either one. I still think Ramondre's more talented than no matter what they put out there besides him. So,
all right,
he would definitely get moved down for me. That's what I was trying to say. He would get moved down from 8 down to like 10.
Oh yeah, well you have them. You already have them. You don't have them built in with a cushion.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So at number 10, finally cracking the top 10. At number 10, we have Derrick Henry. His 2022 fantasy stats, he averaged 18.86 points per game, so almost right at 19 points per game. He finished as the RB4 last year. I have him at 10.
I have him at 6.
Okay, Raymond?
I have him at 10.
Oh. All right, so Brennan, you want to pitch your case first, or you want us to pitch ours?
I'll pitch mine. That's fine. Well,
Okay.
Like you said, he hit 18.86 points per game. The king, he still shows he's the most dominant runner in the NFL. Like, there's no doubt about it. They got to stack, 8 men in the box, whatever you want to do, still gets 5 yards a carry. He had a career high in receptions last year, and I could see him having right around the same numbers as last year as this year. The bad offensive situation hardly influences Henry's fantasy numbers, and he did not seem to be hampered by the foot injury that knocked him out of the second half of the last 2021 season. This year, offense looks the same as last year, so as long as Henry's healthy, he's still going to put up RB1 numbers. That's my philosophy. I'm not going to doubt him until it's been doubted.
Ray, would you like to go?
Yeah, sure. I think I have him a little lower than I'd want to, but I couldn't justify putting him any higher because that offense is going to be putrid. And I know that he's produced before without an offense. I know that. But this is a year older, coming off of some injuries. I don't buy into Derrick Henry being this, league winning back anymore. I don't think I do.
I'm in agreement with Ray. I don't necessarily buy into Derrick Henry being quote unquote a league winner anymore, especially with all the young talent at running back that we're more excited about. He's 29, the foot injury. He's a bigger body back, could potentially aggravate it again. You never know. Tennessee did absolutely nothing in the draft nor this offseason to help Derrick Henry out. Outside of the weeks that he plays the Jags, because he just typically body bags people with stiff arms, he'll be top 10, but he won't give you the giant RB1 performances where he's outscoring everybody like he used to. I think this is the year that happens and he falls off. Calling my shot.
Also, just to add into that, Derrick Henry currently has 1,750 total carries right now in his career.
Just in the NFL, right?
Just in the NFL.
Okay. Alabama was a lot too, so.
It just sounds like he needs more carries. Sounds like he just needs another 300 carries to keep going. I don't know. I think the Titans are going to still rely on him. They drafted Skronsky in the first round. That's the offensive tackle, which they'll move to guard, whatever the case may be. I still think I think the script will still be him running the ball 20 to 30 times a game until he can't. So I will take that chance until the wheels fall off.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna blame you if you do, but it's kind of like those years where you're betting against Tom Brady to not be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
I'd rather, and especially with fantasy football and running backs, I'd rather be a year too early than a year too late.
Yeah, this could be the year. I've always said it. I said, this might be the year. I said last year when I drafted him early in, my half PPR leagues, I took him at 7 in both of them, my big money leagues. And I was like, but I played a win. And I still think he's that has that ability to win you the league. Yep. And he did, except for obviously he got injured during the championships, but that's either here or there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in agree. I have him ranked there because I do think this is the year he falls off. But I could also see a world where he ends up running back 3 through 5 again. So yeah. Let's see both sides of the coin. All right, ready? Number 9, Nicholas Chubb. Ray has loved this guy since the day he came into the NFL. Nick Chubb's 2022 stat lines. He averaged 16.55 fantasy points per game, and he finished RB6 last year. I have Nick Chubb ranked at running back 7. Ray, you have him where?
I have him at 5.
Okay, Brennan?
I have him at 11.
Oh, the hate.
A lot of differing opinions here.
Man, you and I are closer than me and Brennan.
Yeah, I think
the middleman.
So, okay, he's still the best pure runner in the NFL. I'm not going to argue that. He averaged 5.2 yards a carry last season, which was a career year. He was looking like a league winner, and then once Deshaun Watson stepped in and became the quarterback, he basically became irrelevant at the running back in regards to fantasy. Y'all want to know his numbers when he stepped up to be the quarterback? You ready for this? He finished as RB35, RB29, RB36, RB23, RB20, and then week 18, he finishes RB1. That's irrelevant because if you're playing the championship in week 18, your league is irrelevant to me.
So you need to stop doing that. Stop doing that right now, please.
I have him lower because I watched that Barstool interview with the head coach, and he made the comments of he wanted Watson to throw the ball like 60 times a game. So I'm worried for Chubb, but regardless, he's still the best pure runner. There's no Kareem Hunt behind him, so I could see him hitting that 70 to 80% snap share hole, and I think it's fair though. That's why he's still RB1.
Duke Johnson Jr. though, right? Or not Duke Johnson Jr. Who's the other dude that came in that was the 3rd string running back last year that everyone wanted to be a thing, but he wasn't?
I don't remember.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember.
I can't think of his name though. But he was like just as good as Kareem Hunt.
Probably a little better. Kareem Hunt didn't look like he had a whole lot left in the tank, or maybe he was playing because he didn't want to be there anymore. He requested a trade.
He did, and they didn't give it to him, which is weird because they probably could have got some draft capital out of it.
Yeah, I have him as high as I do.
Oh, Jerome Ford.
No.
Demetric Felton?
Nope.
That's what I have him.
Yes.
Regardless, yeah. You guys are higher on him. Like, why are you guys higher on him as compared to me? I'm obviously there's a big difference. There's a sizable number difference.
So, one, I've been a Chubb truther for ever. Just right off the top. Chubb truther here.
You like some Chubb?
I love me some Chubb. The other part of this is that he doesn't have anybody in the backfield to split carries with right now. The other back that you're talking about is now in Jacksonville, and Kareem Hunt isn't there anymore. They didn't draft a running back.
No, their depth chart is it's Ford. I just said it. Yeah, so their backs are Jerome Ford, Demetric Felton, Nate McCarry, and John Kelly that sits on the roster right now.
He's not on the team anymore, so scratch my argument. I just looked it up too. He's definitely not on the team. They didn't re-sign Kareem or any of them. So, anyways, I think that Stefanski is dumb talking about Deshaun Watson throw 50 to 60 or 60 times a game. Who's he going to throw it to? Amari Cooper every damn play? No, he's going to get bracket coverage. They don't have anybody else. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's okay.
No, they just traded for Elijah Moore too.
Oh, yeah. We'll let that one happen.
I believe in Moore. I think Elijah Moore still is a very talented wide receiver.
I do too. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think that Deshaun Watson, his prime is over when he pulled all the bullshit that he pulled. Now he's missed basically a year and a half, almost 2 years worth of football. So, anything else on Nick Chubb?
Mm-mm.
Nope. All right, number 8, we have the New York Jets running back Breece Hall. His 2022 fantasy stats: he averaged 16.3 points per game. He finished as RB42. We all know why he finished at RB42. He got injured. There's no point to it, but he was on pace to also be in the running for Rookie of the Year, just like his offensive counterpart.
Garrett Wilson.
Thank you. Yes. I have Breece Hall at 9.
I have him at 8.
I have him at 14.
Jeez, I had such a. So let me make my case for him. This kid was looking like an absolute steal for most people. Then week 7, he tears his ACL, and the season was over for the sensational rookie. Breece looked like one of the best running backs in the game in those 7 weeks, and with the Jets not drafting another running back, I could see him having a 7% sharehold of that backfield. I was a little concerned when I heard that they were really high on Gibbs, but in regards to the redraft, I expect him to be a total workhorse this season, and Rodgers has shown to have no problem getting the best out of his running backs. That's my take on it.
So let me put this in perspective too, Ray. He finished 6 spots outside of an RB3 and missed over half the season.
That's a really important part right there, that he played half of a season and tore his ACL.
Okay, so Christian McCaffrey's been injured all the time, so you're not going to draft Christian McCaffrey? Saquon?
No, they're not coming off of an ACL tear mid-season. Okay. He's not going to play for the first month and a half.
Oh, I think
I guarantee he plays week 1.
I think he plays week 1. Yeah, I think the reports are out there that he's.
I will put a beer bet. I will put a beer bet that Breece Hall plays week 1.
I will also do a beer bet.
That would be so foolish of the Jets to throw him out there early. It'd be so foolish.
I expect him to be rusty week 1, but by week 3, I expect him to have the full swing of things back in normal. Modern medicine is amazing. Dudes like what's his name? Deontay Foreman can look like a pure running back for tearing his Achilles again. I believe in modern, and same with Cam Akers. Modern medicine is amazing.
I'm just saying that I don't think that he's going to have a full workload, especially for the first month. So you're taking away another month of production. I don't think that's going to be there. That's why I have him where I have him at. Okay. Not because Breece Hall shouldn't be in the top 5, honestly. If he didn't get hurt, he's coming into the season without an injury and without an ACL surgery, I'm probably putting him in the top 5. But right now, with those things in front of him, I'm not super, super high on drafting Breece Hall this season. Next season, if he doesn't get hurt again, all in. But this season, coming off of that ACL tear, I don't know. That's too
I'm
tough
just
for me.
saying he should be back. They're not a lock for the season opener, but I'm assuming that if he's even 80.
Aaron, your mic.
You're muted.
Yeah, your mic went out. Say it again.
Hello.
Yes, you're good.
Okay, so Breece Hall, sorry for technical difficulties. He's not a lock in air quotes to be ready for week 1, but I'm willing to bet that if he's even 75%, they're going to let him start, get a few snaps, get ready. Michael Carter, as good as he might be, he's not taking that job from him. Week 3, week 4, when he comes back, he's going to be a full-time starter. Only playing 50% of the snaps the first 3 weeks and finishing at running back 42 and missing half a season last year, he's still top 10 running back.
Yeah, if I was drafting him, I'd definitely draft Michael Carter as insurance in the later rounds as as my safety net, just because obviously coming off the ACL tear, but I would feel pretty comfortable with him as my RB1.
Yeah. So. Anything else?
Nope.
I think a man next up that we're most in agreement on, that everyone's going to be shocked with because he's coming off injury too, is number 7, Tony Pollard. 2022 stat line was 15.55 fantasy points per game, and he is finished last year at running back 8. I currently have him at running back 8.
I have him at 7.
Okay, Raymond?
I have him at 9.
Okay, so question for you then. Why do you have him still super high, but not Breece Hall when they're both coming off injuries?
Bones are easier to come back from than ligaments.
Okay.
Fair.
Track record's there.
No, you're not wrong. I'm not going to argue that bones heal quicker. It's astounding to me when you see his numbers and then know he's been the 1B to Zeke, when I can say since the last season, most people who saw Pollard being the better back of the two. So he's 6 foot, 210 pounds. So this thought of him being a small back is really silly. I don't know why Yeah, this whole like thought of him being a smaller dude is ridiculous. So I don't see him having an issue being a bell cow back. Pollard scored more fantasy points than any other running back from week 7 to 16 when he consistently played 53% of the snaps or more.
I think that the idea that he's a smaller back only gets brought up because you're used to seeing Zeke in the backfield for Dallas, and Zeke's much bigger than Tony
Pollard just looks slim. His waist looks smaller, so the midsection, and I think that's what causes that. Last year was the first year that we ever saw Tony Pollard get more than 15 carries in a game, or 15 total touches in a game, and like you said, for that last week 7 through 16 or whatever, he exploded when he was getting double-digit carries.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about Tony Pollard this year.
I am too. I know you guys are, a little, I don't know if you guys are more leery with Mike McCarthy taking over the play calling and him being the back, but I'm still confident.
No, because Mike McCarthy gets super stagnant in the play calling and wants to run the ball anyways, even if it doesn't work. So Tony Pollard, I think, still has enough juice in the tank to make stuff happen.
You know what we're going to see with this?
Jamal Williams over Aaron Jones.
We're going to see Mike McCarthy running at least 5 to 7 screens a game. That is true. What's going to happen.
That is true. And they'll line up Tony Pollard in the slot and do a wide receiver screen with Tony Pollard instead. You
can't do jet motion. That's too advanced for Mike McCarthy. So it's just screens.
So let me ask you both. So he had 39 receptions last year. Do you see that being more or less?
I see it probably being close to like the 45.
Okay.
Not a lot more, but 45 to 50. Which, 39 receptions for a running back is pretty damn good anyways.
No, yeah. I think anything over that 30 mark is pretty decent.
Yeah. So yeah, I see a lot of the way that's going to happen is, like Ray said, if you average 2 more screens a game, that's an extra 18, passes halfway through the season when you think about it. Before teams start to figure it out.
Yeah, if Brandon Cooks goes down too, I could see that total getting up to 50.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't have a whole lot of other weapons. It's got to go to the ball's got to go to somebody.
Yep.
And I could see that number going all the way up to 50. That's a high number. And if that's the case, I would love to have some of them shares. Love it.
Yep. All right. So next up, the guy that I wanted to get. Oh, sorry, went backwards instead of forwards. The guy that I wanted to get last year but never got a share of because he kept getting drafted a little too early in front of me. Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is at number 6 for us in the consensus rankings. Last year's 2022 stat lines, he averaged 19.25 fantasy points per game, and he finished at the running back 3. I have Josh Jacobs ranked at 6.
I have him at 9.
I have him at 7.
Okay. So we're all pretty close. As we've talked about, some of those are minuscule. I think realistically, when you go like every 5th position is more of like where the big jumps come from. Yeah. But I don't know, man. It's just
he had a weird start. What a weird start for his career in general. The Raiders declined his 5th year. There were a lot of questions whether he would be the starter for this team. Made him play in that preseason game, so everyone was sitting there kind of leery about him, including myself. And a lot of people were worried that with them getting McDaniels, he had no real ties to him, so they could easily fade him. But he basically became the best running back for most of the year. Career highs in every stat possible: yards, touchdowns, receptions, whatever you call it. He was a league winner for most people. And goes from Carr to Jimmy G, who's shown to have no problem checking down to his running backs and playing it safe and short. So I could see him still having similar production as he did last season, and made the jump from good to amazing, but still had some injuries playing through. So that's my write-up with him.
Is Jimmy G an upgrade to Derek Carr, or is it lateral?
I think it's more lateral than anything.
Lateral. I still think Derek Carr's a better quarterback, but it's not like some amazing jump.
So I think, but with the McDaniels system, he wants to be kind of like Bill Belichick and Sean Payton, where he wants those timing throws. So I think, you know what I mean? Like,
McDaniels wanted his guy. He did not want Derek Carr last year. It's pretty evident. And they paid pretty decent chunk of change for Jimmy G, and Jimmy G knows the system, so it's not like he's going to miss a beat going there.
Yeah. That's true. And they're not afraid to run the ball with Jimmy G too. If we've noticed anything from San Francisco, they'll throw the ball a little bit to like 2 people and then just pound the rock. So I do have high hopes for Josh Jacobs again. I understand last year was definitely a career year in basically every statistical category for him. But coming out of Alabama, yes, John Gruden drafted him in the first round, but still it's first round talent. We saw it last year. I expect a little bit of regression. That's why I have him at 6. But I don't foresee a whole bunch of it. Because offense is still what? When you think about it, the offense is still Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, right?
Yep.
Michael Mayer's probably not going to come into his own this year.
I would think I have him at 7 only because I think that there is going to be regression. He's not going to be lighting the world on fire 2 years in a row.
Oh yeah, definitely not lighting the world on fire. No.
But would you take him in the first round of redraft?
No, I would take him. I would. Let me rephrase that. I would look at taking him depending on what's off the board at the 1-2 turn.
He is. Where is he for me in my thing? He's literally picked. He'd be picked 12 for me. So
that's where he's at for me. It's about 12. So 14, I feel comfy, but 12, I like.
I think he's a first rounder. I think he's. Let's see. Yeah, his best shot is he's consensus like around like Fantasy Pros 11. So yeah, he's first round.
Let me tell you how many times Josh Jacobs has burned me though.
Let me tell you, man. If Josh Jacobs drops into pick 202, so 14 total off the board, I'm snatching that up. All right, I think this is everybody
so many times. I don't know.
It's tough. It is tough. All right, so next up, Brendan might get a little happy and excited here. At number 5, we have the man, the myth, the legend. This is the only picture I could find of him in an Atlanta jersey, so I used it, and he just loves looking at the football. We have Bijan Robinson. There are no stats for Bijan because last year he was in college, and if you watched any college tape of him at Texas, he is a man amongst the boys when he was playing football there. I have Bijan at 5. Ray, where do you have Bijan?
I have Bijan at 4.
Okay, Brendan.
I have him at 6.
Oh, well, I guess it should be Ray's guy. Ray,
yeah.
Congratulations. You get the torch.
You broke up a bunch when you're talking. So I have Bijan that high because I don't believe that Atlanta drafted a guy in the top 10 to split carries with Tyler Algier and Cordell Patterson. I don't believe it. But let me tell you that there is a universe out there that Bijan's going to be getting the ball in between the 20s. And as soon as they get into the goal line, it's Cordero. And in short yardage situations, it's Tyler Algier. I don't
think Arthur Smith is that stupid.
He didn't want to give Cordero all the work, and he needed to because he was the best player on his offense. But
Algier had over 1,000 yards rushing, so clearly Cordero wasn't the best player. He also averaged 5.2 yards.
Yeah, I think he broke the rookie yard.
Carry. The Atlanta record. Go ahead, Brendan. Let's hear your case of why you have him so low.
Look, it's crazy to see him. I've seen him ranked as high as 1 on some people's list, and the lowest I've seen him is 19. So consensus RB1 in the 2023 rookie draft, except for the Lions, apparently. That's a little weird to say that, but this man was the closest to Saquon as grades towards his ability. I think his receiving is his biggest upside since he's shown to have great hands, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him finished as the RB1. And fantasy, that's his true ceiling. I think his floor is still being an RB1. I trust Arthur Smith to use him, and he's shown to have no problem running the ball 30 times a game. So I am not like Ray said, I'm not worried about Tyler Algier. I think Tyler Algier is going to help him out, but nothing crazy. I think Bijan touches the ball at least 20 times a game.
Yep. So Atlanta led the NFL from the running back position in every statistical rushing category that is out there, except for 2 or 3, and they finished at 3rd in those.
Yeah.
So they can definitely run the ball. Therefore, upgrading from Tyler Algier to someone who has what could be considered the blue chip caliber of Bijan is just going to put them above and over the top. They are going to have Desmond Ridder this year. I don't know how that's going to go, but expect them, as you said, Brendan, to run the ball a lot. So the Bijan hype train will always and forever continue until we see what happens this year.
Sorry, I had Bijan at 5 on my list. I looked somewhere else. I have him going 6th overall in my
okay. So we're all you and I are even. Yeah. All right. Number 4, Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. Last year we can all agree was probably a down year for him. 2022 fantasy stats per game though was 13.31 points per game. He finished at RB33. We all know that everyone was upset because he got injured last year. And in my rankings, I do have Jonathan Taylor at 4. Ray, where do you have him?
6.
Okay.
I have him at 4.
All right.
I mean, like you said, he was going as pick 101 last year, but my team had the worst meltdown of all time. He had a season worth forgetting, unperformed as the RB30 in 11 games he played, averaging about 12 points. So obviously he was not worth the first overall pick, and as the RB18 when he was healthy. So I believe heading into the season though, with a rookie quarterback, especially the talent of Richardson, I expect the offense to be more heavy run based to help ease in our quarterback. I expect positive regression though in touchdowns. He only had 4 last season, and I have no issue seeing him get close to double digits in touchdowns. So I think he's a safe floor.
Okay. I have him the lowest only because I don't think that he's going to get anywhere near as much goal line work with Anthony Richardson there. That's what scares me a little bit about him. That's why he's a little lower on my list. But I mean, I do think that last year was an outlier. Him coming back fully healthy to a season, he can't finish outside of the top 10, when healthy.
I agree. All right. So number 3, we have Austin Eckler. Last year, Louise. 2022 stats was 21.92 fantasy points per game, almost 22 points per game, and he did finish as the king. He finished RB1 last year. I have him at RB2 this year in my rankings. Where do you have him, Ray?
I got him at 3.
Okay, Brennan?
I have him at 3 as well.
All right. So we're all pretty dang close on him.
Yeah. I think this is the situation where people tend to forget that, like, he's not the best running back. He's just a good fantasy running back. I think we also need to monitor situations since he's publicly stated he wants to get traded, since he feels he's underpaid. I will say the Chargers are the best place for him. I don't know if you guys would disagree with that, but I think in regards for him being the best fantasy football player, that's his best spot. Has a rapport with Herbert, and if he's still there this season, I have no issue seeing him getting about over 100 receptions again or close to it. He had 107 last year. I still see him being the focal point in that offense just because of how electric he is when he has the ball in his hands. And I do expect touchdown regression. I know that was said with him last year, but the Chargers were without Keenan and Mike Duggs for 13 games combined. So with him having over 18 touchdowns, but I don't see him having less than double digits again.
I can see at a minimum 75 receptions and at a minimum 14 touchdowns. So you're still looking at running back 4. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, no matter what, they're both guaranteed at least 3 weeks out during the season. Doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be mean, but let's be honest. Let's look at the history here.
Yeah, I can't say that I would want Eckler any lower than 3. I think that I have him kind of low, honestly. He could be 2, maybe even 1.
The only reason he feels he's underpaid is because obviously back-to-back years of 18 touchdowns, back-to-back years of, for fantasy purposes, finishing 2 the year prior and then 1 this past year. Like, he deserves to be paid, but he won't be paid because of his age.
And to Brennan's point, there is not a better place for him to go.
Exactly.
He needs to stay in San Diego. Or
he asked
LA.
for a trade to test, and they let him test the market, and he realized the market was shit and said, all right, cool, I'm good being here.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he stays. I hope there's no like random trade that comes out of the nowhere. I think it's the best spot for him. He does go anywhere else, he will move down,
way down.
Pretty drastically.
Yep. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for Austin Eckler, though. What you see is what you get, right?
Yeah. Let me ask you guys, where else would he go if you got to go somewhere else, where would he go for you guys to stay as like an RB1? So between the 1 to 12, like, can you think of somewhere where he could still be an RB1?
Carolina,
Houston, somewhere with a young rookie quarterback where they're gonna need his assistance and checkdowns. Potentially maybe Buffalo, but just because it's just Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. But Josh Allen wants to run and throw the ball too. That's why I said potentially.
Yeah,
I really don't see it anywhere else, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me. Like, I'm trying to think of like a realistic spot if like a team wanted to make a push and like
LA, maybe the Rams. Going to the other LA team?
Sean McVay could use him, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think like a random one would be interesting, would be the Vikings, like going all in. Kirk Cousins last year, going for it. So, but
I mean, they could probably honestly do a 1-for-1 swap for Dalvin Cook.
But at the end of the day, it's the Chargers or nothing for me with him.
I agree. Chargers or nothing, or else he's upside down fish in the water. So number 2, we have Saquon Barkley. His 2022 fantasy stat lines were 17.69 fantasy points per game, and he finished at running back 5. I have him at 2 or 3 in my rankings.
I have him at 2.
I have him at 2.
Okay. So basically, I flipped Eckler with you guys on Saquon.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I mean, finally healthy in a bounce back season, and he reaped the benefits of it. Also helps to have a competent head coach and a play caller who realizes who his best option is and use him to the fullest. Currently franchise tagged and has made it public that he wants a new deal and is in stages of potential holdout, but I don't know how that's going to work out too well for him. I see him posting similar numbers as to last season with the Giants. Did add some weapons, but none I feel that will impede on his numbers. That's what I have for me.
man, he had 295 carries for 1,300 total yards last year. Only fumbled once.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
The
5.9.
the injury bug that I think people get worried about Saquon with, all of his injuries are kind of like freak injuries. They're not like, yes,
And
he
they're-
tore his ACL.
Yeah, they're
but
catastrophic freak injuries too, is what sucks.
yeah, they're just like some guy stepped on his foot, broke his foot, he tore his ACL. Things like that happen. But I don't think that, Saquon is, he should be viewed anything but a guaranteed top 5 back coming into the season if he stays healthy. It's always the caveat with everybody though.
Yep, that is true.
So let me ask you guys. I have him as my 3rd overall pick. If you had a draft right now, would you still take him? Do you feel comfortable that the Giants will work out a deal?
I had a draft right now.
It
Yes, you had a
scares
draft right
me
now.
because if he holds out, oh man, that would
You have a
suck.
Le'Veon.
You
You have a
have pick
Le'Veon
5.
Bell situation.
You have pick 5. He's there. Are you taking a 5?
Taking Jay Jettis if he's there.
Well, no. So I'm just asking if all the running backs and Jay Jettas are so like Chris McCaffrey, Eckler, Jefferson's gone, and so is Taylor. And you got pick 5. Are you taking Saquon, or are you going to keep letting him drop? How far will it take for you to take for him right now?
With the not having a contract, 8 or 9, depending on
Okay.
who's left.
Yeah, without knowing his contract situation right now, this is like drafting today.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know it. I'm going to take Bijan instead.
Yeah.
How far does he drop for you, Ray?
Probably out of the first round until I know that he has a contract.
Where's he at for you? If that were to happen.
I'm still comfortable. I think I don't know. I've never been burned by Le'Veon. I was never burned by those situations, so I'd still take him at like 2 or 3.
So this is my point though too, right? I think that he's going to take a playbook from the Le'Veon Bell situation because Le'Veon was the best back in the league when he decided to hold out, and then took that year off and came back and wasn't the same. So I think Saquon's going to be like, I don't really know if I'm able to do this.
I don't know. It also, when you go to the worst coach and one of the worst coaches in NFL history calling plays, it can make that.
That is true. He did ride Peyton Manning's coattails to get a head coaching job. And
Adam
for some
Gase.
reason, in the same league, the Jets were like, we saw what he did with Miami the last 5 years. Let's get that guy. But anyway, real talk. Who would you take over him? Because I would take CMC over him, Eckler over him. If you don't know the contract status, I would take Bijan and Taylor over him, Jay Jettas, Jamar Chase. So he would be going 6 for me with kind of not knowing where the contract is.
Yeah, I guess that the case would be 7. If there is still unknown, I would still be like pick 7.
Yep. Okay. Does that sound about right, Ray?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. At number 1, it's probably going to be no surprise for anybody at all. It is Christian McCaffrey at number 1. His 2022 fantasy stat lines were 20.97, so almost 21 fantasy points per game. He finished at RB2, right behind Austin Eckler, who Austin Eckler averaged about 1 fantasy point more per game. CMC did. I have him at 1. Ray, I'm assuming you have him at 1. Brennan, you have him at 1.
Yes, sir.
That's a shock. And him getting traded from Carolina, no one ever really kind of knew what was going to happen. But all of a sudden, in Sean McVay's system, everyone just kind of started salivating, watering at the mouth. They're like, "Oh my God, going to a good run offense." And once again, just like Saquon, one of the first years that he stayed like truly fully healthy the whole way through.
I mean, this guy is the definition of a consistency when it comes to what his production is. 1,000 yards on the ground and 1,000 yards receiving is never out of the question when it comes to him.
Yep.
Once he was traded week 7 from the Kansas City Chiefs game, he put up 40 plus points in that game. or the second game, sorry. And then from weeks 8 to 17, he averaged 20.5 points. He averaged 20 touches a game, and Shanahan has no problem using him to the fullest.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much to add. I mean, he's the 101 for a reason. He catches the ball out of the backfield
for a reason.
Yeah, he's not been hurt too much. I can't say that I would take anybody over Christian McCaffrey right now at the 101. No. I think that's the move to make.
Unless it's a dynasty startup, might look a little different, but
so so what about Justin Jefferson? Would you take Justin Jefferson? He has never been injured yet. He's obviously put up amazing numbers. So would you make the point for Justin Jefferson or still Christian McCaffrey for you guys?
I would take Christian McCaffrey.
I would take CMC. Are we talking redraft?
Yes, redraft.
Yeah, I would take CMC. Running backs are too valuable in redraft because you have 6 to 7 ones that are consistent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, running backs are way too valuable in redraft. Yeah, that game you were talking about when he first came over, he ran for a touchdown, received a touchdown, and threw a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Man's a beast.
Ridiculous.
The man is a beast. So, guys, that is our consensus rankings for the running backs. Next up, you know what it is. It's wide receivers. So, any other honorable mentions for running backs?
Honorable mentions?
Tank. Tank Bigsby till I die.
Okay, who was someone on your guys' 24 list that you thought would be there but wasn't for you guys?
I'll tell you one that was on my list that we didn't talk about that will be there is Jamal Williams.
Okay, so one that was on my list that I thought would be there that wasn't there was Cam Akers, wasn't it? We missed Cam Akers?
Yeah, I have Cam Akers really high, yeah.
Yeah, because we had Javonte in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Cam Akers for me. I have him at 22, which is just right outside the edge, but
yeah, I have Cam Akers. I think Cam Akers will be it could be a potential league winner if there's no one else who comes to Los Angeles.
I have him at 30.
You have him at 30?
Comfortably.
Uh-oh.
Don't regret it, Ray.
Uh-oh. Another one that I will talk about, yes, is like Ray said, Jamal Williams. Alvin Kamara should have the suspension. I have Jamal Williams at 28, but I think it's just because what is the dude's name? Dan Arnold. Is he the head coach of the Saints right now?
The offensive coordinator? Or Dennis Allen is the
head coach, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and I don't have any faith in that dude. So,
all right, beer bet. How many games does Alvin Kamara get suspended for?
6.
I have 4. I think it's 6, but it gets reduced to 4.
I think it's 6. I think it starts at 10 and gets reduced to 6.
Oh.
I think it starts at 10 as well. It might be a season. It should be a season. He beat a man half to death.
I'm just saying, man.
I think it starts at 6, but it goes down to 4.
So I want to bring up my rankings didn't consist of Alvin Kamara because I'm expecting the suspension, and my rankings also didn't consist of Joe Mixon because he's either going to get suspended for something stupid because there's been too much news going on, or the Bengals cut him.
Yeah, I think June 1st is a possible cut, which is they're talking about. So
that's what I want to bring up with those two, and that's why they didn't crack anybody's top 24 because we're obviously assuming Kamara gets a suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal Williams is definitely going to take a lot of work from him. They let Taysom Hill basically push him out of the offense last year. So with Jamal Williams, who just came off of 20 touchdown season last year, they're going to definitely just be like, oh yeah, let's do this. So
Jay Will's a good back. He's not a great back. He's a good back.
Man. Listen. So who's better, Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams?
Aaron Jones.
So
Aaron Jones.
And we had 2 years of hashtag free Aaron Jones.
It's because Aaron Jones is elite.
Stop it. It's because Mike McCarthy. And then
Jamal Williams got better hands than you think he does.
I agree. I like Jay Willie.
A really good runner.
He's an awesome dude. He's a good person.
Does not fumble the ball.
He will be a great 0 RB strategy for your team.
Yes.
He will. So will
David
Montgomery.
15.
I don't even know where I have him at. I don't even want to look. It's probably low.
I have him at 28.
29.
Way too low.
Okay. 28, 29. We're close. I have DeAndre Swift, who everyone's going to be super stoked about at 27.
I definitely have him at 18.
Penny.
I have Rashad Penny at 30 if it makes you feel better.
I have Rashad Penny, I think, at 25.
I
Okay.
couldn't care less about Rashad Penny.
Jesus. Haters.
Oh, Jesus. They're
RB1 in
3
Philly.
spots apart.
RB1 in Philly.
No,
RB
no, he's not.
1B.
No, he's not even going to make it out of training camp.
They
He's gonna
just
get hurt in training
traded for DeAndre Swift for a bag of beans. They're gonna break DeAndre Swift down because they paid Rashad Penny.
Look, there's 4 running backs there. I don't want any part of it, but I'm just saying if I had to guess who's gonna be the first one out in the field, week 1,
Boston
no
Scott's
injuries,
not gonna be a thing at all this year. He might not make
except
it
against the Giants.
Huh?
Except when he plays the Giants, he's gonna get his rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
He literally only has rushing touchdowns in his career against the New York Giants. It's pretty impressive.
All right, guys. So that pretty much wraps us up today. Let us know who you guys think are in the honorable mentions of who should have been in the top 24 that we don't have in the top 24. As always, please go to Driftles Jerky, use code franchise tag for 10% off your order. Follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, anywhere you find your socials. Most importantly, and the most important thing you do, smash that sub button, hit the notification bell, hit the thumbs up on the video. Subscribes really help us go a long way. We have grown the community. It's been awesome. And we always enjoy hearing from you guys in the comment section. But until next time, we'll see you